And good evening. We are going to be doing a relaxing meditation this evening. So let us know that God is at the center of everything. And if you hold those words in your mind and your heart, I ask you to close your eyes if you're comfortable and settle in to the chair or whatever you're sitting on and relax, taking a deep breath. I'll begin. And I invite you to claim this for yourself. I am relaxed. Every muscle, every cell, every atom of my body is relaxed. I am letting go and letting God direct and maintain my life and affairs. I am resting on the everlasting arms. I am taking dominion and giving the following orders, yes, orders to my body. My toes are relaxed. Flex the toes, tense them, turn them up toward the head, and then consciously release and relax them. My ankles are relaxed. Tense the ankles and then consciously relax them. My calves are relaxed. Release the calves and then consciously relax them. My knees are relaxed. Tense the knees and then consciously relax them. My thighs are relaxed. Tense the thighs and then consciously relax them. My hips are relaxed. Tense the hips and then consciously relax them. My fingers are relaxed. Tense the fingers, then consciously relax them. My hands are relaxed. Tense the hands, then consciously relax them. My arms are relaxed. Tense them and then consciously relax them. My diaphragm is relaxed. Tense the diaphragm, then consciously relax it. Now I'm letting my shoulders relax. Letting go of any burden I have been carrying. I am relaxing my neck muscles. Tense them and relax them. I am relaxed. My scalp is relaxed. My head is relaxed. My eyes are relaxed. My face is relaxed. Let any expression go limp. My whole body is relaxed. Now, in this relaxed state, I surrender myself to the perfect power within me. I realize that all of life continues without my doing anything about it. I am letting go and letting God. Namaste.
Welcome, everyone. And the idea of being lifted. The title today is Anytime, Anywhere. And what I wanted to talk about was the power of our mind to create exactly what it is we would like to be experiencing moment by moment. We have that ability. And yet so often we get focused on the past, we get focused on what isn't working, we get focused on the distractions, the interruptions, and instead of being free, we are restricted, tied in, tied down, feeling maybe frustrated and challenged. And life is full of challenges. There's no doubt about that. But there is a power for good in the universe, and you can use it. That was Ernest Holmes who wrote that. And I'm here to tell you there's a power for good in the universe, and you are using it. And you're using it in whatever way is currently working for you. And sometimes we use it destructively and negatively, and other times we might use it positively and productively. But however we're using it, we are in fact using this infinite power and potential. So I wanted to talk a little bit tonight about prayer and spiritual mind treatment and what it is and how to use it, because we have within us this ability anytime, anywhere to begin to change the way we're thinking. It's a choice. We can begin to focus our attention on everything that's not working and become frustrated and annoyed and upset. And we can look at what's happening and we can take a pause. And whatever it is and how uncomfortable it might be, just take a pause and allow ourselves to feel what is happening in the moment. Be with what's happening in the moment. Welcome even what's happening in the moment. Shed tears if need be, scream if need be with what is. And then in that moment that we felt whatever's going on, to take a breath and to remind ourselves at any time, anywhere, the power and presence of this infinite loving universe is right here. And in the moment that I turn to it, the moment that we turn to it, there's a shift that occurs. An expanding of consciousness, an awakening and enlivening that happens that allows us to move into a new state of being, into a greater potential and possibility, so that we can begin to reframe our experience more in alignment with what it is we'd really like to be having in our lives: more joy, more peace, more love, more abundance, more, whatever, or even less of some things possibly and more of others. So we want to allow ourselves to go to this place. So as you know, over the last couple of weeks, I've definitely had my challenges, and they haven't ended as yet, and so be it. And today when I woke up, I was feeling really not great. And when I went for my walk, I thought, okay, now what? And interestingly, I'm listening to a podcast on grieving. I thought, well, it's not apropos. Open up to, I won't even say the name of this podcast because I don't like to swear quite that much. But this woman is interviewing a woman who talks about grieving, and mainly mothers, grieving the loss of their spouse. But grief is grief, and it's something that happens. And when my mom died 2 weeks ago, it was shocking to receive a text from my sister telling me. And that was painful. And I held on to that for a little bit, which probably wasn't the best thing to do. But you know what? It hurt, and I held it. And then to have to go to a funeral, I'm not used to those, but that in itself was kind of difficult as well. This conversation about Adam and Eve, I'm not sure what they had to do with my mom, but the whole thing felt just weird to me and created more challenge for me. And so as I sat in that, as I allowed myself to feel the pain, to cry the tears, to just be with the agony of the moment. And I think for me, it was really important that this was a funeral I didn't get to conduct. because for the first time, I actually got to grieve. I did my mom's, like this was my stepmom. I had done my mom's funeral. I'd done my dad's funeral. I did my brother-in-law's funeral. I've been doing funerals all over the place. I do them all the time. I think I do them very well. But in doing the funerals of my family members, it prevented me from grieving because I was so caught up in the doing. So this time I got to grieve, and I was blessed to have my children on either side of me in the pews, that they could hold me while I wept and just dealt with the loss. And now tomorrow I'll put my cat down. And that's brought up a whole bunch more. He's 20 years old, but it's time. But here's the thing. Grief is not bad, right? Our feelings are not bad. We need to find a way to welcome, to embrace, and to allow. That when the feelings come, if we would just have them rather than squashing them down or trying to make them go away, what happens is we actually open our hearts a little bit. We break down the walls of resistance. And it's in those moments that we can really experience the power and presence of this one divine, infinite creator, source, substance, the absolute, the one and only, whatever we want to call this energy, this power, this presence. It's right here all the time. And we can tap into it, and it can strengthen us in the moments of pain and despair. And it can allow us to heal those places where maybe we feel a bit raw and broken. But we're not. That power within us is infinite and eternal. It is so strong, and our feelings are just a way of being the human that we are. And so when we take the power of prayer, spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer, whatever you want to call it, when we take the power of that and we take that into our heart and soul and go, yes, there is something going on in the universe much bigger than I can touch and feel, more important than what was or what will be. What I know in this now moment is I have the power of the one. And so when I do spiritual mind treatment, when I take time for that, I allow myself to remember that there is a power within me far beyond any experience, far greater than any circumstance. And also when I'm doing that, I am present. It's like the history is gone, the past is done, and the present now moment is what I focus on. And it is the very thing that allows me to heal, to love, to laugh, even in the midst of heartache. Life is filled with ups and downs and here and there, and it's all good. And every little bit of it is taking us somewhere. Who knows where? But there's something about it that can lift us. And it's being present, being available. And by using prayer, we can take those moments of anguish. And as we feel it, we can begin to acknowledge the presence. We can begin to acknowledge the power of the one, and we can begin to dissipate that energy without blame, without regret, without guilt. We can begin to just feel what is for us. And every one of us is going to do it differently. And what I know for certain about grief for sure is there is no timeline. It is what it is. It shows up when it shows up, and it's about just surrendering into it and being present with what is in any given moment. But the power of prayer can help us to take that moment and be with it, to honor it, and to release it, at least for the moment. But we can also take that power of prayer, spiritual mind treatment, and we can heal our bodies. We can heal our minds. We can heal our world. I believe that for sure. So tonight, as we go into breakout rooms, the questions that I want you to think about is anytime, anywhere, I can use the power of prayer. And the questions I want you to think about is, when do you use spiritual mind treatment? When should you pray or use treatment? And if you have been using it, do you find it helpful? Do you find that it makes a difference for you? And then the other side of it is, do you feel like it's possible to treat or pray anytime, anywhere? Friday night, I was sitting in a bar with my son and a bunch of his friends, and one of his friends was struggling because his family lives in northern Alberta and was being evacuated because the forest fires were moving in on the town that they live in. So he was a little anxious. So I said, well, what's your mom's name? And then in the quiet of that moment, I just did treatment, that they would get out and find a place, and whatever was in their highest and best good would be fully realized. In the middle of a bar, crowded, loud, noisy, I took a pause to simply be in that loving energy, to share an idea that I believe in strongly. So as we go into the breakout rooms, I want you just to explore what you think about it, what you know about it, what you don't know about it. And maybe somebody else in your group will have some answers or will be able to share ideas with you as well. And then when we come out of the breakout room, we'll just share any insights. And then I have a little closing piece as well that will help us to anchor what it is that we've been speaking about. So as we go into the breakout rooms, I just want us to be reminded of how it works. And so there are some intentions. So I'm just going to read those now, and they're on your screen. I invite you to read them as well. I am creating a divine space of understanding, love, and compassion for each person to share their beliefs and perspectives in this experience. I am speaking and acting for myself personally and not for others, and will share my truth honestly and respectfully. I am trusting that this is a safe place to step outside my comfort zone, or rather my familiar place. I am keeping my opinions and advice to myself and will not crosstalk nor give advice or suggestions. I am keeping confidential what is shared here. I am ensuring each participant has equal time to share. I am lightening up, and I am joy.